This is Between the Links. And now, your host, Mike Heck.
The iconic voice of Esterlin welcomes you to a brand new edition of BTL. Happy Thursday to us all. Happy you can join us for another live version of the program. They're always live here, but back to the Q&A format. We're going to do that again this week and next week. And then heading into UFC 314, that's when we turn the page. Brand new season of BTL, more battles to take place on this here program. New guests, new people joining the show. It's going to be very exciting. But we want to hear from the peeps for the next couple of weeks because there's a lot to talk about this week. And joining me to discuss all of this news and answer your questions is Mr. No Gray Area himself, the Hot Take Kid, the greatest climber of all time, the one and only Jed Meshew from MMAfighting.com. Hello, Jed.
Hey, Mike. How are you doing?
Doing well. Background looks a little different here.
I am, it's spring. Is it officially spring? Surely we've hit the equinox. That must have occurred at some point. So spring, doing some changes, building a separate office space from the one I'm normally in. It'll be, a little less background noise for stuff and just a little more studio-y is the goal. So we're not there yet, but kind of just have at least a good enough backdrop to be working off of. And excited to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that's been happening, Mike.
Yes. Dare I say Command Center 2.0 for you?
Honestly, yes. That's sort of the goal here, to be a little bit bigger, a little bit better. Office Space 2.0. You have the Command Center. I have the holodeck. Trying to think of what would be other than a Command Center. This is not the bridge. You are the captain of this ship, Mike. I am... I'm Commander Sulu,
All right.
Can I be Scotty?
Can
I be Scotty?
Yeah, you absolutely. Yes,
absolutely.
Please.
What's Scotty's line? I can't.
Beam me up. Well, actually, that's not his line. That is what they say.
She can't take anymore. Scotty. That's all I know.
They don't have the power.
That's all I got.
Yes, we're getting a little off track here, but Casey, come on in with the no sleeves, because we are here to answer the questions of our fine viewing audience about a number of things. Of course, we had the big news about Cain Velasquez. We're coming off of UFC London and some big changes in the welterweight division after Sean Brady just runs over Leon Edwards. We have the update, I guess, the non-update update from Dana White about Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. And UFC's in Mexico City. There's boxing that was dirty that happened this past Saturday. I mean, there's all sorts of things we can discuss. So take it away, Casey. What do the peeps want to talk about?
Let's just do it. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Yes. Joseph, does the panel think, all things considered, Cain got a good deal? He was sentenced to 5 years, time served. So I already discussed this on camera with the great Damon Martin. He joined me in the immediate aftermath of all of this. We both sort of agreed that this sentence, outside of getting nothing, was about as good as we could expect. But Jed, you are, as others have called you, the legal eagle of the MMA media space and MMAfighting.com, a terrific website.
Great website.
It's a great website. Let's get I know you sort of touched on it on your mailbag column, but now you're on camera. You're here. The people are watching you right now. Your reaction to this. Did Cain get a good deal in your opinion?
Cain should be extremely enthused by this deal. I think this is the best deal he could have hoped to get. When this all started, 2022, so like 3-ish years ago, my initial reaction was Cain's getting 10. Be a first-time offender or whatever, and he didn't actually end up killing anybody. But you can't do what Cain did. You just can't do that. Even if he had. So we're clear, because this apparently needs to be said, because people who are high profile in this industry are out here with the free Cain and Cain got a raw deal takes. It's no. And Cain knows that that's not true, because Cain has since it has happened has been pretty open about I made some bad choices here and I regret the decisions that were made, because you cannot in the best case scenario, the accusations against this man are true. Like that, it feels weird to call that the best case scenario, but in the context of for Cain, he actually attacks his target appropriately, and his target is in fact guilty of the things being accused of. It's still not admissible for Cain to take the law into his own hands in this matter. The fact that that's not what happened at all, and that this man is guilty of nothing, is still innocent per the standards of our society, and that Cain endangered a bunch of innocent people's lives and shot errantly into a vehicle with a gun and injured somebody else. Like, all of that is really, really bad for him. Ultimately, getting 5 is about what I thought he would walk away with. I thought he was doing 10 and he could probably half that with good behavior. Instead, he just got 5, and that's going to end up being 5, I think. Like, he's, with the time served, he goes back in. He'll probably be out next year. And that feels like the right answer for everybody, like for all parties involved, because Cain absolutely did something wrong. And, that is the price that you pay in our society for it. At the same time, we would have to be heartless monsters not to at least acknowledge, so like, yeah, we get the impulse. Like, we understand why he did it. That doesn't mean we condone it, but we can't understand it. And he has shown contrition. He has done the right things in this regard. I think that this is the right solution. We got to the right place. It took us a little bit, but like, I don't think anyone would feel good if, as the prosecutors had asked for, he got 20 years, but it's all like, it would be ridiculous for them to just let him walk. Like, this feels like the appropriate middle ground for what is a terrible situation.
Yeah. And sort of how Damon and I laid this out right after the sentencing came in. You said it too. Next year, he's probably out. He gets credit for several years of time served in all of this. So I know there's some people saying he could be out as early as January if there's good behavior sort of tacked on and put into play in this equation. So yeah, man, I think this is about as good as it could have gotten for Cain, because you could tell the judge, just based on reports, like, didn't even want to sentence him, but he had to. And basically admitted, like, this is the lightest sentence we could possibly give him, because we couldn't not put him in jail. We just couldn't. Dude went on an 11-mile high-speed chase after a vehicle, fired a weapon, hit somebody that wasn't the guy he was trying to hit. That's just what happens here. And I think Cain would probably be pretty happy with the sentence as well, considering that the prosecution wanted 30 years to life for him. This is a pretty significant win, all in all.
Is a huge win, because like, he, outside of, again, it's still not legal for him to attack the man, Goulart, who was accused of that horrible thing. It's super not legal to recklessly endanger the lives of a whole bunch of other people in doing this. Like, this is, and I said, we had some internal talks with some members of staff, like, when this was all happening, and I was like, if I'm Cain, I'm pleading this out immediately, because there's just, like, the extenuating circumstances are not going to really, they don't change the legality of the matter, because this is getting into the weeds and we don't have to get into it, but like, based on my understanding of this, his actions were premeditated. This was not like I saw him in the streets and flew into a fit of rage and attacked him. It was, I waited for him and then chased him for 11 miles in a car with other civilians in it. And that, like, you just can't do this. And so I was certain the whole time that Cain was going to plead this out, because he wouldn't win. Like, if he just went to trial, you never know what a jury is going to do, but like, it is low percentage that he wins. And if he took this to trial, he's getting like a minimum of 10. So pleading no contest, accepting the ramifications for your actions, like, all of this is the correct way to handle it. And again, 5 years. 5 years is not nothing. I'm not here to minimize 5 years in the American penitentiary system. Like, our penal system is awful and terrible, but like, this is as good as he could have hoped for given what happened, and everybody should be relatively pleased with what's occurred here. Like, I think this is justice. This is correct justice as far as this all goes out.
Yeah, and you have to think about it in this manner too. When they arrested Gallart and put him in jail, they could have just kept him there. They didn't have to he got bail, and that's what sort of the straw that broke the camel's back. And Cain just kind of taking vigilante justice upon himself, which as a father myself, I could totally understand why he did that and the reasoning behind that. But if they just didn't grant bail to him and just kept him in prison and kept him in jail until his trial, we wouldn't even be having this freaking conversation right now. We'd be having an entirely different one. So there's just different roads we can go down in regards to this case. But I think this is a gigantic win for Cain overall.
Huge win. And like, he should have been given bail when having him out on bail. I think that the prosecutor actually argued against that, which was kind of lame because like, he's not really an ongoing threat. I think that this all just played out as well as it could happen. Now, I do think there is legitimately a really good question of how fair this is, just because Cain is famous. And this is not a Cain specific issue, right? This is the nature of the legal system in America. But I am not certain that a person in similar circumstances to Cain that is not a former professional athlete with friends in high places would have gotten things as well as he did. Maybe, and you'd certainly like to hope that that wouldn't play a factor, but I also think that there's certainly a little bit of that helped him move along pretty well in this.
Yeah. Plus the people at his back in all of this. Some very powerful people. So there you go.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Boza. All right, got some super chats. A super chat from the other week that got in late, but Mr. Tanvir super chat.
Oh,
again.
yes.
$20 super chat. So much iced coffee. Thank you so much.
I hope it's about UFC London. Damn it, it's not.
With the Payton Talbott and Frank Ocean relationship confirmed, would Talbott be the UFC's first openly gay fighter? How do you see this impacting his career, given the conservative fighter base in upper management? I mean,
he wouldn't be the first openly gay fighter.
Yeah, not even close.
There are many women who are gay. The UFC's first openly gay fighter was Liz Carmouche, wasn't it? I think that is accurate because that was part of. I think that was part of the storyline.
Yeah,
like with the.
Well, that was the first female fight, and a male fighter had not come out at that time.
Yeah, and so now he may be the first. If he were to come out, he might be the first openly gay male fighter. To my knowledge, Payton Talbott hasn't come out. No. I am not an expert on this, but like that would be like a pretty big milestone for the sport.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if he comes out if that's his choice. I know Frank Ocean, I think, is openly bisexual. That's all I really know.
I could not tell you two factoids about Frank Ocean.
Oh, Frank, you don't know about Frank?
Other than he's got a good name. It's a really strong name. Is that his actual name?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, from Los Angeles. Listen to any Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean is amazing.
I've heard a Frank Ocean song or two. I'm certain. But like, I don't know a single fact about him.
Oh, that's too bad. Jose would be the person to bring on if we want to talk about Frank Ocean. But
Frank Ocean is not his government name or not his born name. It may be his government name. That's a shame. Name. Frank Ocean's true name.
Yeah, and I knew there was some videos and some photos posted, but I just Googled it. There's like no confirmation that they're together that I've seen. So I don't know. And if they are and they're happy, then power to them.
It will probably boost his career because
certainly
that's like famous people with other famous people, like that just ups your profile in a significant way. I got a lot of beef with the UFC brass for many reasons. I've never really gotten the vibe that they would be discriminatory against gay people. So I don't think that it would impact him in any way. The fan base is absolutely another thing, because there are a lot of people who aren't all that cool in the fan base. My guess is that it wouldn't turn into much. That they're not going to boycott Payton Talbott because he may or may not be gay. Like they'll just tweet about stuff and be angry. And occasionally Sean Strickland will say something that's entirely out of pocket, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you, man. But just to give you, if you guys don't know, Frank Ocean is like he, as far as like level, like he would be like a headliner at Coachella type of guy.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. I just
Like I know of Frank Ocean.
Oh, okay,
I am
cool. Yeah,
aware of
that's
him as a person. I just
okay, cool.
I could not tell you a thing about him because I don't really know a lot about most celebrities in general, but like, you know, I know that he is a famous musician and has won Grammys.
Highly recommend Frank Ocean. Thank you, Tanvir.
I have to think that it would be a win, like that.
Total
it would
win.
be a net positive for Talbot outside of being the first openly gay male fighter in UFC history, which is, you know, like
and the
cool
UFC, honestly,
milestone.
If the UFC actually like promotes this correctly or like uses this in a good way, like it's a victory for them too.
I feel like they wouldn't, but I don't think they'd neg it. But like that would just be good for his personal brand. I'm certain.
Yeah.
Because being attached to famous people always helps.
All right. Thank you, Tanvir. All right. Super chat from Chase.
Oh wait, Frank Ocean was in Odd Future. I know Odd Future. Okay.
Yeah, he was one of the members.
Dude, I couldn't tell you who all was in Odd Future. I just know there was Tyler, Creator, and a bunch of people.
Tyler, Vince. I know I can't remember all the names. I knew like 3 or 4, but yeah, Frank was one of them. Homeboy. I forgot them all, but yeah.
All right, let's go to this. I'm willing to bet that a third of the live viewing audience is here for this exact question, and because Jed is here. After Dana and Tom's optimism, do you think we are any closer to getting the fight? Jon has not said a single word in this entire saga and seems as if he's okay with walking away if not compensated. So if you have been living under a rock, you have no idea what we're talking about. Ahead of UFC London, Dana White did an interview with TNT Sport and basically said, hey, the fight's done. We're just trying to get it signed. And it's not done enough. It's done, but it's not done, but it's done. But it's not done to the point where we can announce it, a date, anything like that. We need to get things signed. So I took away from this, we may have even taken a step back from all of this. This was Dana's answer to kind of get people off their back. Tom Aspinall shows up to UFC London, holds the duck, and has been talking about Jon ever since in different interviews. And the only thing we have seen from Jon Jones is him showing up at Dirty Boxing during the weigh-ins, him becoming a co-owner of Dirty Boxing. And during those weigh-ins, fans chanting F Tom Aspinall and Jon looking weird and uncomfortable up there as he is reacting to the fans chanting F Tom Aspinall. So, Jed, you have been on, I don't care what anybody says, this fight ain't happening. Did Dana, Tom Aspinall, or anything else you have seen over the last 6 days convince you we are anywhere closer than we were a week ago from the UFC announcing that Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall for the Unified Heavyweight Championship is going to be done?
Nope. I will believe this when the cage door closes. Look, legitimately an internal conversation was had where I saw that the Dana said the thing and I put it in there. I was like, this is not really news because Dana isn't saying anything. And then we're like, it's still news. You have to do it. I was like, okay. I just like, Dana didn't say anything. Dana said, and this is, I'm paraphrasing, I don't have the quote, where it's not signed yet, which is all you need to know. If the fight was real, it'd be signed. That was it. If the fight is real, there would be pen and paper. There would be a commitment to do this. The fight is not signed. Do not believe the fight is signed. Even when it gets signed, if it ever gets signed and they put posters up, don't buy it. Believe it when the cage door closes, because any number of things could happen to prevent that from happening. Jon, if this fight was happening, Jon would be tweeting something stupid and shit with a shit-eating grin on his face. You know, about to see or whatever, like shock the world, some nonsense. Like, if this fight was happening, Tom wouldn't be showing up to UFC London with a duck. It's not happening, guys. Like, we got to move on because you're going to spend so much energy wanting a thing that won't exist, because no matter how much we want it, the UFC is not going to pony up and pay for it to happen. And that is the blocker. The blocker is, will the UFC offer Jon Jones an amount of money where he will say, F it, worth it? And I will believe that when I physically see them touch gloves before punching each other in the face.
Here's the exact quote. The fight is going to happen. It's just a matter of when now. Getting it signed and done. The fight will happen. Dana goes on to say, quote, it's going to happen. It's done. It's done, but it's not done. Not done enough to sit right here now and announce it and give you a date. But the fight is going to happen. It's just a matter of getting it signed now. So then it's not done. If the fight's not signed, it's not done. What are we doing here?
It's going to happen. It's just a matter of making it happen is a way to phrase what he said. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of making it happen. Like, I'm going to fold the laundry that's on my bed right now. I just got to do it. But I'm not. I know I'm not. I'm going to go.
I don't have a date yet.
Yeah. Like, I know that I woke up this morning, I took the laundry out of the thing and I threw it on my bed. I was like, if I put it on my bed before I go to sleep, I will fold this laundry and put it away. And that's a lie. It's a lie I told myself, because I'm going to go about my day and then I'm going to come home or whatever after I do dinner and I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to walk into my bed and say, shit. Well, throw all this laundry into the hamper and try again tomorrow. That's what's happening here. This Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall is the clean laundry of fights. It's never getting folded.
It's been in the basket so long, you have to wash it again. Like, you're like, you know what? I just got to do it again.
Buddy, I've done that. I have done that before.
Like
we all have.
Yeah. There's clothes in the dryer. We took the load that's in the wash. It's kind of a small one. We just added it to the stuff that's already in the dryer.
I'll dry it again.
Run the cycle again. And then the next day, because we don't want to fold it or we waited too long, we just run the dryer cycle again. We just do it again. Just to get the wrinkles out.
I'm convinced that half the reason people get married is for like things like this. As a person living alone, there's nobody to make me like be an adult about my laundry. I can just leave it forever in the basket, and it's a bad look. It's a bad look for me, but I do it. That's what this fight is. It's never getting done.
Do you get to this point where you have the laundry on one side of the bed and you sleep on the other side of the bed?
No, that feels like full degen mode. I just put it in the basket. Right. I do sometimes have too much laundry and it starts feeling like overflowing. And then once it leaves the basket and hits the ground, then it just goes in the dirty hamper to be re-entered into the cycle.
It touched the lava. No, it's good. All right.
Exactly. The floor is lava.
Love it. The floor is indeed lava.
That was great. That might have been your best analogy since was it leafy greens, the leafy greens fight.
Honestly, I literally was just thinking about it because it is a stone true statement. There is a pile of laundry on my bed right now that I've just been for the past 3 days been like, I'll get to that today. Nope.
Shout out to my wife who just got home from traveling from work, and she's in the other room having lunch, and she heard everything that I said. Her text to me was more often the dishwasher, which is us just washing the dishes. And then if there's 2 or 3 dirty dishes or bowls, we just put it in there and run it again. So maybe it's the dirty dishwasher of fights.
I understand that experience as well.
Love that.
I have that experience less because I have like certain items that I use very frequently. And so I just need to wash like dish items that I need to wash more often, but I know that experience as well. Same.
Oh yeah. We've all been there. Shout out to Holly.
Have you heard the theory of kitchens are all done wrong and really you
should have 2 dishwashers?
2 dishwashers? Yeah. I like that one.
It's not a bad theory.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
I have so much cabinet space.
Yeah, I would lose my mind.
The big cabinet industry, they got to us. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Chase. That question was amazing. I know that we really went on.
Just led us to a place.
We are so good. Yeah, we are so good at doing that.
All right. Thank you, man. Oh man, super chat crazy today. All right, here we go.
Love it. Bobby, Mike, did you know Ludwig Borga fought Randy Couture at UFC 13? I did not know that. There is a dark side of the ring coming out on Ludwig Borga, which I'm very excited about. Any thoughts on Ryan Bader's next move? So,
who is Ludwig Borga?
So Ludwig Borga was
Well, if it's Dark Side of the Ring, he's got to be a professional wrestler.
Professional wrestler. He came into WWF in like the early 90s and became like, they wanted to make him like one of the ruthless foreign heels, if you will. There was this wrestler named Tatanka. He was a Native American character, and he was undefeated for so long, and they brought Ludwig in, and Ludwig beat him like in a cheating way, and that was supposed to like build him up to superstardom. But then like a few months later, he was just gone, and no one knew why. And apparently there's just this incredible story about who he was before he went to WWF and who he was after his WWF run. And it is apparently a pretty wild story. And I did not know he fought Randy Couture at UFC 13. So maybe that'll be part of Dark Side of the Ring. But I'm really looking forward to that one.
About Tony Holm,
Yes.
which is his true name. First fighter from the Nordic countries to ever compete in the UFC. So Gunnar Nelson, you owe Ludwig Borga a beer. I don't know.
Debt of gratitude.
Pave the way.
So Borga was in the WWF, I assume at the time. WWE before he came to the UFC, correct?
Had to have been.
Right? Yes. For sure.
Oh. Man, so this whole time we were like, oh, Brock Lesnar, CM Punk. It was always Ludwig Borga. He was the...
I mean, I
had
think it was Ken Shamrock.
No.
Yeah,
Ken
well, yeah.
Well, no, but
Ken was after, though. You're right.
Yeah, Ken became
went
a
UFC
pro wrestler
to
after.
WWE.
I mean, he was a pro wrestler in Japan, but as far as like, kind of American, I was just kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So there will be no beers being purchased for or by Ludwig Borga unless it is somewhere in the afterlife. He passed away in 2010 at the age of 47, and I'm sure there's a friggin' story involved with that. But that is not the one of the big stories that has come out.
Fought in rings a bunch too.
Yeah, dude was active, and
UFC
kind of makes
13
sense.
was in Augusta, Georgia. Shout out.
Apparently that episode is dropping next week on Vice TV, so I will be certainly tuning into that. But we do not have a Dark Side of the Ring about Ryan Bader. I probably don't think we'll have a Dark Side of the Cage about Ryan Bader either. Maybe we'll have a Damn They Were Good someday about him. Who knows? But Ryan Bader is a free agent, Jed Mishu. You shake your head. Amicable parting of the ways between the former two-division Bellator champ and the Professional Fighters League. And you know what? Here's what's interesting about Ryan Bader. Ryan Bader didn't say anything on Twitter, didn't throw a fit, didn't say, hey, I've been waiting for a fight. He just quietly got what he wanted, and he's out, and now he's a free agent. So, Jed, your reaction to PFL and Ryan Bader breaking up, if you will, and if you had to guess, what is the next move for Ryan Bader in terms of his professional fighting career?
Ooh, I think Ryan Bader is going to end up going somewhere that's not the UFC next. It's just, I mean, they could use him. Not that he's like awesome or even that interesting, frankly, at this point, but like he's got some level of a name, so they could use that. It feels like they're just not going to. That they're going to be like, we don't need to be in the Ryan Bader business. You know, we already did that. It was fine.
We know where he's going.
Like, where do you think he's going, Mike?
I mean, look, can we say the organization's name now? Because at least they were granted licensing to host events. So we've gotten over the hump.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just not going to
some degree
in
Not
them.
real yet. Not real.
You know, I think Ryan Bader could be terrific in BKFC. Just as a big dude, just hitting people real hard. That'd be kind of fun for him to do that.
That would be fun.
I don't think the UFC is going to be in the Ryan Bader business.
But like,
I feel like he must have a plan, because otherwise he could just stick it out with PFL, right? Like there's no reason to leave if he does not have a plan. I just don't. I mean, I guess GFL is if GFL is the plan, he is managed by people that are a lot dumber than I thought, because whatever your beliefs on Ryan Bader, the man has been very good at getting the bag in his career. Like he has managed his career extremely well, and that like he left the UFC and made a just killing in Bellator for a very long time. You know, it seems to be doing really good at the business part of his career. So this would be a huge error if the plan is I'm going to GFL, because that's just not going to work long term. So I don't know what his plan is, but more importantly, do any of us care? I will be frank, I do not. I am far more interested in opening the can of worms that the Tony Halm thing did. Did you know that not only was Ludwig Borga an opponent of Randy Couture, he was the first opponent of Randy Couture. The first MMA fight of Randy Couture's career was against Tony Halm at UFC 13. And I will pay you 10 American dollars if you can tell me the main event of that event.
And keep your money.
Yeah. I care about Ryan Bader. Isn't he a top 10 heavyweight? Especially with the UFC releasing like two of them.
I don't even know if he is. Is he in our? I mean, he probably
He
is
was.
by process of elimination.
Before the 18th, I think the 18 month got him, but he was I'm pretty sure a top 10 heavyweight. And isn't
the
PFL
18 months that got him.
Yeah.
Fight more often, kid.
Yeah. Isn't PFL desperate for opponents for Francis? I mean, is this weird for PFL to do this?
Well, I think one,
Or they just don't want
it's weird for them to do this because they just are getting rid of any fighter that people know on their organization. Corey Anderson was tweeting yesterday about being like, hey, I haven't fought in a year. I don't really know what the hell you guys are doing. They're still just rocking on strong with mismanaging their talent. So shout out PFL, rep you forever, or sorry, whichever side the PFL logo is on in this shirt. So it is weird, they just don't need to do this, but they keep being like, screw it. We'll do bad jobs. That'll be fine. I'm sure that won't hurt our long-term success by just making every fighter not want to work with us. But he was never going to fight Francis. Like, Francis has maybe 2-3 fights in the PFL. Like Nemkov, Goltsov, I guess theoretically is in line since he won the heavyweight tournament most recently. Like, Bader's just probably not in that consideration at this point, really.
Yeah, and he got nuked by Renan Ferreira in like 20 seconds. So like, he ain't getting the Francis fight. There's like there is literally
one
no
fight to get to France. I don't know. I'm just
I mean, if he had beat Renan, he probably would have got it. But that was his only chance of getting it. So yeah, man, we'll see what happens. He'll probably do. I don't know. Maybe he'll end up doing a karate combat like grappling match next or something like that, like Brendan Allen and Kyle Bahalio just did. I don't know. He ain't fight. I don't think the UFC goes anywhere near him.
Not for the price.
If he wants to take like a Contender Series contract, nobody's going to ask about it. The Artem Vakhtov thing is the best story. Yeah. It's the best story. Like, it makes me so happy because like the UFC free public defenders are just, you guys are like, who cares? Like, dude, you love Alex Pereira. This dude is a better kickboxer than Alex Pereira. And they were like 10-10, guy. That's all we can do for you. Okay. Guess I'll go back to glory then.
I don't remember a fighter just publicly stiffen him on that. Like that, it was just something to that where it's just like, yeah, man, this isn't my only option. So we're not going to do this. You guys aren't paying me enough to make it worth my while. I have a family to feed, and apparently your offer wasn't enough. So I'm going to go fight Rico Verhoeven and make a big bag over at Glory. So yeah, you don't see a lot of fighters going on the Contender Series hoping for a UFC contract, and then when they get one saying, nope, not doing it. Goodbye.
Dude, especially too, because like now that Alex has lost the belt, if he reclaims the belt, that would change the like math. But like, let's say he loses to Ankalaev in their rematch. There's no shortage of opponents for Alex. He's Alex. He's very, very popular. But like, you just let Artem get one win, and you're like, oh, this is no longer really title implications. Screw it. Fight each other again. Yeah, like, people will love that. There. And instead they're like, sir, 10-10, final offer. Okay, bye.
Okay.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Is there anything you can do better? Can you do any better? No. All right. Well, I'm leaving then.
My favorite part of it too is like the way he phrased it, and like maybe this is something lost in translation or whatever, but he's like, according to them, they couldn't offer me more because like that's the rules. Like that's the rules. Who makes those fucking rules, man? It's them.
I'm sure
Like,
Bo
okay.
Nickel got 10-10 off Contender Series. I'm sure Greg Hardy got 10-10 coming off Contender
Also,
Series.
like you could just be like, okay, we're not going to offer you the 10-10. Oh, we offered you the 10-10. Okay, the Dana White contract, the Contender Series contract is out. Now that you're a free agent, would you take 50-50? Like that is just the most incredible thing. Like, no. Because like I can see Hunter Campbell sitting and be like, my hands are tied. I can only offer you 10-10 per the rules.
Look, here's the rules.
These are
Here's
the rules. The laws say I can only do this. There's no wiggle room here. Would you like to fight for 20 grand? No? Ah, shit. Okay.
We tried. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thank you much. All right,
Dude, the Artem stuff is easily the best thing that happened this week.
But it was just so predictable. Weren't we kind of waiting for that story eventually? That exact kind of.
I was genuinely shocked when he did Contender Series. Like, why is he doing Contender Series? Like, are things that hard up? And then it's just like, no. Okay, do you want to fight? I'm even trying to think like who he would have gotten booked against for his debut. Somebody just ass, right? Or do you want to fight Rico Verhoeven? Well, I'll take the Verhoeven fight for $1 million. Thank you.
Yeah. They would have given him like Bruno Silva or somebody like that.
Probably. That probably is.
Yeah, that's who. Yeah, Bruno Silva is perfect. Thank you. Super chat from Jonah.
Jonah, Mike, you failed to notice how awesome your Otno pick, Wood versus Woodson, is. Tallest versus shortest. Featherweight gonna be so funny, and father versus son giving. Thank you. Yes,
it's a really good pick actually. I listened to it and I was like, I like what he's doing there. That would be an amusing visual.
It would be. There's a lot of like crazy numbers and stats going on. UFC Mexico City, the card with the oldest fighter on the roster and the youngest fighter on the roster competing at the same time. Vince Pichel is the oldest fighter on the roster. And of course, we can't even use 19-year-old Raul Rosas Jr. anymore because I believe now he's 20-year-old Raul Rosas Jr., the youngest fighter on the roster. So good stuff. Interesting.
Yeah. All right. I guess I have to check in and watch the card now. Sounds great.
Yep. Gotta watch it.
I mean, Mexico City is a good card. Certainly
it's
the main
better.
card is pretty solid.
Yeah, it's better than the last.
The prelims have some fun
cards.
stuff.
Yeah, it's not better than. You think it's better than London on paper?
I think they're very comparable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I think top to bottom, it's
bottom,
a little bit better. Certainly the main card, I think London better.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
But
with
like
that.
overall, they're in the same neighborhood. Slight edge towards London just because the very top of London is better than the very top here. But
yeah, I think the stakes on paper are higher with London, but when you look at it, if you looked at these cards side by side 2 weeks ago and you thought to yourself, like, what is going to be the more fun watch? It's Saturday, without question. Like
every fight is a bantamweight or a lightweight or featherweight fight. So it's definitely going to be more fun.
Just better weight classes, yeah.
There are two middleweights, and that's the heaviest we got going.
Oh, yeah. They learned Mexico City, those big boys.
Don't bring the big boys to elevation.
Big boys,
don't do it. Or do it, and let's really
and just prepare to have a
Mick
good time.
Parkin, Marcin Tybura ain't walking through that door.
That fight needed to be in Mexico City.
Oh, yeah.
The Mexican fans were clamoring for Mick Parkin, Marcin Tybura.
Free agent Marcin Tybura. I'm surprised we haven't gotten any super chat about Marcin Tybura's future. Final fight on his deal.
I'm not surprised.
So much leverage.
Now he and Ryan Bader can team up to go somewhere else and bring all the views.
There it is. BKFC Phoenix.
Bader versus Tybura,
versus
BKFC Knucklemania 6. I think that's the Knucklemania we're on.
Yep.
The UFC always signs the best fighters, and he is a top 10 heavyweight, and the UFC will throw the bag at Tybura because they sign the best fighters.
That's true.
Dude, I think they're going to sign him because I don't think they have to throw the bag at him. Tybura just strikes me as a dude who'll just be like, yeah, whatever you're offering, cool. That's fine.
We'll give you the money we were going to offer Artem per fight. So we'll add an extra 10 grand winning show to what
Hell
you made
yeah.
to fight Mick Parkin.
Thank you, Jonah. Super chat from Scritchin. It's a weird one, but you know.
Scritchin, Dana had no problem with the fighter who did that on The Ultimate Fighter.
Who was that?
Dakota? Is that
He was an
right?
Ultimate Fighter? He never fought in the UFC.
Give me a second. I'll look this up.
I know Dakota Cochran, but he was never a UFC fighter.
No, but he was in the Ultimate Fighter.
Oh, he was? Oh.
I'm like 90% sure. This is an AK thing, but
This is an AK thing.
AK is the tough man. Like he understands.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was
No, like AK is the guy who knows what's going on with tough. But like I'm like pretty sure he was on the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, I forget. What
I'm willing to go up to 95% that he was on the Ultimate. Sure was the Ultimate Fighter live season. He lost a split decision to James Vick.
Well, UFC didn't choose to re-sign him on a regular contract, so I guess they didn't like him enough. So all right, thank you much.
But yeah, I do think that Dana would not have a structural issue with a. And somebody pointed out previously in the comments that Jeff Molina is bi. I don't know that that's confirmed. I know that he wore.
He went on Ariel's show.
I know that he wore like Pride shorts one time, like gay Pride shorts.
Yeah. He went on Ariel's show when Ariel was still with us. He went on the show and talked about it. So I'll have to go back and like listen to that before I can actually give
I
a
thought
sense.
He just never he never fought after though, because it came out. It was all in the same. All that thing came around the same time.
Yeah, with the Krause stuff and
it all
gambling and everything. So so we finally got Jeff's fate. I mean, Darrick Minner can fight tomorrow. He can fight today. His suspension's over. That's done. His 29 months are up. Jeff Molina can fight in November. So all things considered.
Why did Molina catch it worse in the teeth?
Because he actually placed the bets.
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense then.
Both, yeah. Did you...
But he also said that he placed bets on like a bunch of fights on the card, and it wasn't a significant amount of money overall. But yeah, all things weird, man. Like this story. I think this story's far from over. It's just what's it been 2 years, almost 3 since like we last got an update on this. Yeah, it was like November of 2022 is when this really kicked off. And then for the next like 5-6 months, we were trying to figure stuff out. And then it was just nothing. Hey, and now we finally get some fade here.
I think I've said it before, but credit to the UFC PR or whatever, because when this story happened, we were like, this will be the biggest story of the year. And then it kind of just fizzled away and not one question about it, So the UFC made this problem disappear.
Yeah, because there's just nothing. They're not part of it anymore. They laid down their rules moving forward, which is you can't train at his gym and you can't bet on fights anymore. Like if we find out you're betting on fights, like you're done. You're in trouble and all this shit. So, I mean, anytime Dana was asked about it, he was like, federal effing prison, like all that stuff. So,
I mean, it's pretty easy. This is like how most sports handle gambling. You're not allowed to bet on the sports that you participate in, which I think is a clean, like that. There's just no reason not to have that rule. It seems like an easy rule. Molina failed. I get it.
No, but he did it before they enacted the rule. When did they enact it? Because remember, you could
but like that's also still just like I don't have any sympathy for it, especially because like for what everyone wants to say, this feels like some shady shit, man. So like, take it 3 years on the chin and move on.
You watch the betting line for that fight just continue to shift throughout the card. Like it was being boosted in a significant way where everybody who gambles on fights noticed how the lines were shifting. And then the fight happened and we realized why they were shifting, because Darrick Minner was completely injured and unable to fight. and got run the F over by Nurdenbecka. And we were just like, that was a whole thing. Immediately, the whole thing was called into question because one of the betting lines, and two, of how the fight actually transpired, and three, the fallout of it, seeing how hurt Darrick Minner was going into it, and then not disclosing the injury. So just a whole bunch of shit, man.
Yep. Yeah.
And honestly, 3 years isn't even that bad.
Honestly, again,
That's fine. It's not great, and if this is your profession, that's tough. But 3 years it's not a lifetime.
UFC didn't cut him.
I
know Darrick Minner got cut.
Yeah, there's going to be a dark side of the cage on online gambling and the UFC. Well, and combat sports pretty soon. It's it's gonna be wild.
Maybe.
Oh,
Not. Yeah, it's down the line. Down the line.
oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's getting real dirty. Thank you.
I mean,
Scritchin.
there are already a ton of great early day stories in that. That's where the fun really is.
Yep. Thank you, Scritchin. Bunch of super chats. Giovanni.
Favorite fight in the near future that's officially booked?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let's why don't we go pull up the sked and see what I'm thinking about right now.
Officially booked. I got to go with. I mean, Volk Lopez is a good one, but I got to tell you, I am so intrigued by Patty versus Chandler.
It's great matchmaking.
I think that's. I mean, I think that's the one that I'm like most interested in, just because I'm super curious of how it's gonna go.
314 is a really good card on paper.
I cannot wait for
they
that watch party.
Face some of these good fights to other thing because like the prelims are all sick too. Like we could do a watch party starting with Jim Miller, Chase Hooper because it's just hitter after hitter following that. I have one. I just want to make sure there's nothing I'm missing because the one is jumping out at me right now. And it's not Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber, in case you were wondering.
We hating on that. Why are we hating on that fight?
Because I think that Aaron Blanchfield's going to kill Macy Barber, and so it won't be. I have one in an honorable mention. I think the answer has to be Corey Sandhagen, Figgy Smalls, as I think that fight is just deeply fascinating and really, really good. And you're talking about two guys. I think Figgy's probably like slightly past his prime, but in the new weight class, still can't even really be sure of that. And Corey Sandhagen feels like a guy who is amazing and may never get to fight for a belt because he just can't quite get over the hump by the smallest of margins. So that fight's really, really good. But also, Pitbull versus Rodriguez is sick. Like that's just that's a ripper of a fight, and I'm pretty pumped about Pitbull versus Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
Non-championship fights for me, Pitbull Rodriguez and Hill Roundtree. Those are my two.
Yep, that's number 2 for me is Hill Roundtree.
I am astonished that it's not Sandhagen Figgy for you, Casey.
I love Sandhagen, and I just
that's why I'm astonished. And also, as you've said many times, light heavyweight is trash, and so Hill Roundtree, they're bad fighters because they compete in a bad weight class.
I thought for sure. I mean, there was one.
The champion of their weight class is the 20th ranked pound for pound fighter in the world. So I assumed that you would then favor the Sandhagen Figgy fight since you love Sandhagen so much too.
Okay. If we can go just like most talented fights, I'm just going to entertain. Like that's going to be interesting. It's still relevant to the division.
It's going to be an entertaining fight. Yes.
Yeah.
No love for Jose Aldo versus Eamon Zahabi. I'm shocked.
That was one of the worst fights.
I was going to troll a bit. I thought I was trolling and just saying it.
It's one of the worst fights that's ever been booked. It's really impressive that the UFC has managed to, like, of their 5 worst bookings in modern history, 3 of them have been Jose Aldo. I don't know how they're doing it, but they keep doing it.
All right. Thank you, Giovanni. A few more super chats. We kind of talked about this before. But.
What do you think about Jeff Molina admitting that he bet even after the UFC told fighters not to bet? Do you agree with his claim of a double standard? So we didn't address the double standard part. He basically said, well, Conor McGregor drops his bet slips on UFC main events all the time, and there's no repercussions for him. So I mean, there technically is a double standard.
It's a really good point. It's not
Does
technically.
he? I don't follow
That's
Connor's
on
Twitter,
its
so.
face.
But Connor does that often. He'll bet and throw his slips
I've
up.
definitely seen a couple. I don't know if
He hasn't done it in a while, though.
And that's the thing. Like, it's possible that he hasn't done it since this happened. I wouldn't bet that. I would guess that he has, but like, I don't want to cast like aspersion on something that I'd be kind of making up. If like there's just actual proof that Connor did that, then yeah, there's a clear double standard, and that sucks for him. But life sucks. Get a helmet, Jeff. World isn't fair, and if you were expecting to be treated the same as Conor McGregor, you're a psychopath. That was very silly of you.
Okay, so he did. Is that still active? Yeah, so Connor did put out a bet after UFC 307. It is on his Instagram right now if you want to look at it, from October of 2024, showing a betting slip of Alex Pereira knocking out Khalil Roundtree. So
technically, if Connor never fights again, which he may never fight again, he's done nothing wrong.
If he's under contract, he's still suspended though.
I mean, yes, but you know,
I'm just talking like
who's going to do that?
If this was a fair world, a fair and just world, I'm just saying.
Again,
right.
If
we also
Jeffrey
have to
Molina,
understand,
if you're watching this and you thought that you would be held to the same standards as Conor McGregor, you're a very silly and gullible person, and I encourage you to do more critical thinking, because very obviously that is not true.
You thought the world was fair.
Yeah. So there you have it.
I always think that's the weirdest thing. Like, no, I mean, I completely understand what you're saying, Jed, but like how we criticize people for expecting the world to be fair. Like, it's like, you idiot.
mean, you know,
especially in MMA.
Yeah.
I would like to live in the good world that you envision, but sometimes you gotta be a little more practical.
Boo. But you're correct.
Especially if you're being like, you're betting for $300. Just don't even do it then, man. Like, if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. Like, if you're going to do it, like, try and make a lot of money so it's fine when you get suspended. Not like, I'm just throwing some wagers down for $20.
So is $300 considered a big bet or a small bet? Because for me, that's incredibly big.
I mean, that's a big bet for like social gambling. It's a very small bet if you're trying to like make money. Like, if you're trying to pay bills, that is not a sizable bet whatsoever.
Oh, paying bills and gambling, that's a great combo.
Plus, also, like, you just make a bet with your buddy, like somebody at the gym. Like, you and Darrick Minner could be like, I'll bet you $50 that Alex wins or whatever, instead of going through your sports book.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's not fair at all. Just how it's going.
All right.
Jonah, this week we are going from Miranda to Pichel. Casey, best stash in MMA aside yourself. Also, we want...
Great question.
Best stash in MMA. Also, we want Otto Goat. What's that?
Oh, Otto the dog. It's not a goat.
Oh, Otto the dog.
In fact, have Otto. Hold on, and I'll go retrieve him.
Best stash in MMA?
Right now, still Vince. I think Vince Michel's stash is pretty fantastic. One of the best stashes in the sport, and he didn't commit to it, was when Stipe had the stash. It looked amazing. So, but now
there he is.
More important right now.
Otto, quit pawing my face. Yeah. Otto, look at the camera. Okay, or not. How's it going?
Otto, camera, come on.
Hey!
No way.
He's waving. He's waving to the people.
I was asleep, and you woke me up, you bastard.
Yep.
That is what he is saying.
It's like, thanks, prick.
I was asleep on the couch, and then you just hoisted me into the air and walked across the room with me. What the hell? And now he just went and laid right back down.
Yeah.
Good times, Otto.
Yeah, Vince,
all right.
Vince is a good one.
Thank you, Jonah. All right. Another
Vince
super
has
chat.
a terrific stash.
Oh yeah, Vince is. Yeah. Is there anyone else, who am I missing? Anyone else in the?
Gabriel
Tim
Miranda
Johnson
a
had a
good
great
stash.
mustache when he grows it out.
Oh, Tim Johnson had a terrific one.
Yeah, but then he started doing the whole beard. It was like, no, it's just,
I mean, Ian McCall probably has
To
to
say
be right up
Ian
there.
McCall has the
Raleigh,
fanciest of the
the Raleigh
stashes.
fingers
yeah,
going.
fancy.
I mean,
Very
Dan
fancy boy
Severn
with
is
the
probably like
stash.
the first MMA mustache
yeah.
I remember seeing. I can't imagine him
Still-
like
still
not
an
Don,
exceptional
him and Don
mustache.
Fry. Yeah, him and Don Fry, like it's
mean,
like
Don
the sport
Fry
in
is-
general.
Don Fry is
Yeah.
the OG GOAT.
Yeah. Just 80s baseball
Oh,
card looking
I
mustaches.
mean, of course, Mike Beltran. I don't know if we're counting him, but
I mean,
Mike
yeah,
Beltran.
that's
he's in
I
the
wish he was
orbit.
better at
and-
refereeing.
Yeah, but they're all bad, so it's fine. At least
That's
he's
very
got
true.
a cool mustache.
That's true. Paul Felder had a good one for a little while.
Paul looks so much better with a mustache. He looks so good with a mustache. I don't know Paul personally. I mean, I haven't seen him in years, but Paul.
That's a good stat. He had a good stash.
Yeah,
He had one
yeah,
for the what RDA fight.
I think yeah, it works. It looks great on him. It works. I don't know. I'm gonna talk to Mr. Brian Butler. All right. That's super chat from Tanvir again.
Tanvir.
If Prachas beats Neil, do you match him up with Leon? Leon gets a striker, and Prachas has the opportunity to beat a former champ. No. There is I don't want to hear Leon's name mentioned outside of one, like for a fight outside of Jorge Masvidal. Nothing else makes sense. Enough is enough. There is no other way. Like before, you could be like, well, Leon's like just way better than him, and he's got the title. Like it's nonsense if Leon fights Masvidal, who has lost a bunch of fights in a row. Like it makes no sense for that fight to happen. But now, like it makes all the sense in the world for that fight to happen because Leon Edwards is never fighting for a belt again. He is out of the title picture altogether. So let's just be weird and fun. That is a big fight still, even in 2025. What are we doing here? Like, this is the easiest matchmaking you could possibly have for this division right now. Just do Leon versus Masvidal. There's so much history there. The video packages to promote this fight are already there. You don't have to do any real additional work outside of like just doing a quick little interview with each guy talking about, hey, I still want to punch this dude in the face. 3-piece in the soda. Wait till 2025 or you get a 5-piece in the soda. Like you could do all these things. It's so easy. Just book the fucking fight. It's right there.
I agree.
The laundry's on the bed. Just gotta fold it. UFC.
The laundry is
laundry's
on the bed. Just fold
it.
the laundry.
To the person saying you want Masvidal to become number 3, no, Leon would beat Jorge Masvidal.
It would be a terrible
comfortably.
fight in execution.
It would be awful
it's
and
going to
boring,
be a
but he would
bad
definitely
fight.
beat Jorge. The only thing I'll add is to address Tanvir's question, because I don't think everything you said I'm fully on board with. Carlos Prates is going to fight Jack Della after Jack Della loses to Bilal Muhammad. That if he beats Jeff Neal, he is fighting Jack Della next. That is how that will go.
Don't hate it. I kind of want to see Prates fight MVP. Like I kind of just want to see what that fight looks like.
Be interesting.
Are we all predicting Prates to beat Neil? Or is it still up in the air?
I don't know yet. That's still
It's
up
closer
there.
than
Jeff Neal
people
is just a
think.
really hard son of a bitch to fight.
Yeah. Interesting. Thank you.
I think we're a little over our skis with Prates at this point too, honestly, because he's so fun, and obviously I think he is deeply fun. I think we may be a little overhyped.
You're not ready for the disappointment. Like you don't
I'm
wanna,
really not.
Yeah. you don't want to
There's
Jake
no
Matthews
rush.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no rush here. No
Man,
rush with
I need
Prates
to-
whatsoever.
All right.
There's a little bit of rush. He's kind of old.
This is welterweight though.
It is, but
It's an old man division.
he's 31. He needs to get going.
Okay. If for Mike, if the UFC can't fold the laundry and get Masvidal, Leon, what is next? I love this term. What is next for Leon?
See, I think that there's another obvious choice if they can't fold the laundry here.
MVP
Correct. You know,
could do that.
England versus England battle that's been circled for like a hot minute. And to whoever it was who was like, you want Jorge to be a top 5 fighter. I don't think that would happen, but there's the outcome where that happens, and that's bad. If MVP beats Leon, I think the UFC is more than comfortable with that scenario. So I think that is the fight if they don't do Masvidal. To me, that's
the only way. The only way Masvidal wins that fight is if he wrestles the entire time and he just gets sudden. And Masvidal's not a bad grappler. Like, I think his grappling is
he's good,
underrated overall. He's a pretty good grappler. Is he like a huge takedown offensive wrestler, put you on your back and make you run around the cage on your heels kind of wrestler? No, but as we've seen, if you can do that to Leon Edwards, you can win. So, but I just don't see Masvidal coming back for a UFC fight to try to tackle somebody and win. I don't think he wins a striking match with Leon. I think Leon just kind of kicks him in the legs and in the body a whole bunch and just jabs away. And maybe Masvidal has a big moment somewhere in the fight down the stretch, but it's kind of how I see that one going. But it's just the build and everything around it. Like, could it be MVP Paul Daly? Very possible, but
it doesn't matter. The hype was there. You watched, and it might be a stinker fight, but as long as we're all watching,
let's just see. It's right there. Let's just see what would happen. If it sucks, it sucks. But now we're over. Has Leon
done any media or any real media after the fight?
I don't think he said anything.
Not even like a I lost, this sucks Instagram post.
Not that I remember. I feel like I'd remember that.
Yeah, I feel like
Dean Thomas ripped on him though. That was wild.
Really?
I mean, he didn't rip on him. He was like trying to be nice. He was like, yeah, Leon Edwards is not a fighter. Because he was in Sean Brady's corner. He's like, he said a lot of the stuff what we said when we talked about it. Was like, as soon as he shot the takedown, me and whatever the other coach was looked at each other and like, oh, we're done here. We just wait. The fight will be over, but Leon has mentally quit in there. Yeah, like, he was just like, yeah, like, I got a lot of respect for Leon. It's incredible what he achieved, especially because he's not a real fighter. And then he also, but he put the little chaser with it of like, and I know, cause I had the same thing. Like, I also did not have that grit, that tenacity that is necessary. And he managed to become world champion and be one of the best despite lacking it. I did not. I was like, wow, way to make that go down smooth, Dean.
Yeah. Sean is just he's a problem, man. He's a hoss at 170. Very strong man. If he gets his hands on you, like, you're going down. Yeah. It's just a matter of, can you keep him away from you? Bilal was able to do it.
Yeah, but Sean's gone better. Maybe learn from that bad night too. Man. Yeah.
His striking's gotten a lot better since the Bilal fight.
Yeah, can't wait to see what's next for Sean Brady. But it's still interesting that the conversation still seems to be like, well, right after the fight, not main concern, but I was like, are people going to be like, oh, Sean Brady's awesome, or Leon Edwards, sucks? And I think we're getting a lot of both of that after that fight.
Definitely getting both.
Yeah. A lot of both.
Yeah. I mean, everything we said on the show last week
on Leon is really
everything. I think everything Jed and I said about that fight like came true. Like, if Sean Brady does what he says he's going to do, he's going to kill Leon Edwards. Like, this will be one-way traffic. And then Jed even said, to kind of like put the cherry on top of the sundae, was like, Leon might have some dog in him, but he's a chihuahua. But it's a chihuahua. Yeah. And I mean, that's just what, like, there. You saw him break, and then he was just like, I don't want to be here anymore. I mean, he wasn't getting out of that submission anyways, but he was just ready for that fight to be over at that point, because it wasn't going to get any better for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just a reasonable person, Casey. Because that's how I would be. That's how most people would be like, this sucks. I'd rather not be here. And then you're not there.
Yeah, it's not. And again, like, I know we use the word washed like a little more freely than we probably should. I didn't watch that fight and think like, oh, Leon's washed and he's like, has no athleticism. This is just who he's always been. And people have just figured that out and how to beat him. Like, there is a blueprint on how to beat him.
Yeah, which we that's what we kind of got to when we did our post show. I was like, he was, oh, Leon's washed. I was like, I don't think Leon's washed. I think he's just kind of back to where he was before he was champ, which was a really good top 10 welterweight, which I still kind of think he is, you know? But he's not like...
He's going to win more fights.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he's never going to win again. Like, if he fights Masvidal, he's probably going to win. And there's a lot of guys in this division he can beat. Like, if he fights Wonderboy, he probably beats Wonderboy. Like, there are guys in the top 10 he can beat.
Is he okay? That's all. Yeah, he's still top 10 though. He's
yeah. Oh
okay,
yeah.
That's
he's definitely still top 10 because welterweight's bad. That's the thing. Like, I think at the end of it, we're going to, and some people will complain and say that this is, hindsight or whatever. But I think that, like, even living through this, that there was a tinge of this. But if we just look at his career right now, we can be like, that dude went on an impressively long win streak, which was very hard to do. He beat some solid dudes in that win streak. He wasn't really impressive in any of them. And a lot of those dudes, there's, some caveats about it. Donald Cerrone, not really a welterweight. Gunnar Nelson fights once every other year, and that fight was very competitive. RDA, a welterweight, but kind of like a little bit of a tweener as well. Nate Diaz is Nate Diaz. Like, what did that win mean at that point in time? And then the Kamaru Usman one, which we talked about a lot on the post show, like, I do not want to take anything away because he threw the kick, it landed. We were 60 seconds of Kamaru Usman sprinting away from Leon Edwards being the fighter that he's always been, which is sort of the point, like, good but not great. And then he landed one of the greatest knockouts in UFC history, and that gets to change his stars. He gets to forever be a champion. And the win in the three match with Usman was far more impressive. Like, that's the best he's ever looked. That was genuinely impressive. There are real questions about Kamaru Usman aging out at this point. And then he got to fight Colby Covington, who is probably not very good at this point of his career. And then he lost his next two. Like, I think Casey is right. Like, he is at his best. He was one of the 5 best welterweights in the world. And definitionally, he was the best welterweight in the world. But, like, he was never going to go on an extended run. The fact that he got the title at all that's probably a high roll for him. And so, good career.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Last super chat.
Doesn't it make sense for John Aspinall to be the first Netflix main event? Explains why all parties are keeping quiet. Are they going to sit on this fight for another 10 months? Yeah. Aspinall has to fight before that.
Casey has brought this up previously.
Yeah, I brought this up the last show. Yeah.
Here's the deal. Yes and no is my answer to this. If they know they are signing with Netflix, yes. I think that some of it makes sense. Except for there's one little itty issue. You still have a heavyweight title that should probably be fought. And you have a dude who wants to fight because Tom Aspinall is still young. And the way you can grow your brand is to fight again. And so your timing is a little off. If the Netflix deal was going to go into effect in the fall, 100%, I would say that this is a viable thing. It doesn't kick until next year, which really makes the timing possible, but it seems improbable to me that Tom Aspinall does not fight before then. Because, like, you're putting a lot of eggs in that basket, and that's a year. Shit can happen. Either of them gets injured and it's all for nothing. Like, all of this weight, all of this nonsense is for nothing. If somebody gets injured in November and suddenly you can't do the January 1st Netflix show with them. So I just think that it would be a big swing that the UFC probably would not be trying to take. That's my read on it, at least.
Well, I think John's the only important part. I think the opponent, the B side it can be whoever. If Aspinall fights if Aspinall fights Almeida and Almeida wins, then it'll be like, oh, Almeida's the guy. It's not as big as Aspinall, but it's still Jon Jones, and Jon, to me, for Netflix.
No, I get what you're saying, but Jon would never fight Jailton Almeida. He ain't fighting him.
He should fight
Netflix money.
Almeida.
I think it's the money.
Should 100% fight Jailton Almeida. But yes, I'm with Casey. It's the cash thing.
Could it be...
I see your point, Casey. I think I disagree that it does matter. Like, it doesn't matter enough. Jon is still the attraction, but this fight has grown into something real and substantive, and it just can't be replaced that easily unless it was Francis. But obviously that'll never happen. But I do agree that if Aspinall fights and loses, Jon doesn't care who it is. It is a money issue for him.
Just give him give Aspinall Pereira. Who gives a shit? Just do it. Does anybody care? Like, if anybody really care, they could pull out the excuse. Well, I was hurt and sick heading into the Magomed Ankalaev fight. It's fine. Like, if we're trying to build something, then the opponent really doesn't matter there. They have those two dudes fight the interim heavyweight belt. Whoever wins goes and fights Jon Jones. Netflix, January 3rd or whatever the hell it would be. Massive fight for the unified belt. You can sell it as Jon's final fight of his career. Like, that's just massive. Just absolutely gigantic. Either of those names.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jailton or Cyril, like, obviously we don't want to see Cyril again because the same thing would happen. And I don't know.
Jon Jones.
I'll add one more thing to this entire saga, guys, that I haven't really seen many people put out there, but I think is a real piece of this. I think Jon Jones is very aware that he is not at his best anymore. That is why he was so focused on the Stipe fight. Frankly, I don't think he looked amazing in the Stipe fight. He didn't look bad, but like, he looked older. Jon has been fighting for a long time now. Jon is 37, pushing 38. The long negotiation favors Tom in that if the fight ever happens, like, if Jon was going to fight Tom, he should have fought him as soon as he could, because Tom is getting better, because that's how athletic primes work. And Jon is getting worse. Like, I don't think it can really be argued that the best Jon Jones will be the next one. It will not be his best version. And he's been tapering off a little bit for the past few years anyway. So, like, now you're asking Jon to take a fight he doesn't really want to take, a fight that has a ton of risk, and you got to keep waiting. I want you to be pushing 39 by the time you're doing this fight if we're waiting for Netflix. I just don't know why he'd take this fight unless they are going to come off, to use his words and an appropriate term, fuck you money. I do not know why he would take this fight. And the UFC is not going to give him fuck you money, I don't think.
But Netflix might.
I don't know, man. I mean, maybe, but yesterday's price ain't today's price. If I'm Tom and you're asking me to wait until February, price of the brick's going up. Yeah. Like, I'm just not doing that.
I just don't think Tom's the important part of the equation. I mean, for me, it's
Jon. Yeah, but I said Tom. I meant Jon. Like, Jon.
Gotcha.
But Tom too.
Jon's price today should not be Jon's price in February.
I mean, Tom doesn't have the power that Jon has, but he will have some.
Yeah.
At least a little. He could play the same game if you're going to make him sit out for a year and a half, almost
Dude, just
2
take
years.
The belt off Jon. It's not that hard, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's all we've been asking
He doesn't need it.
for.
The belt doesn't matter to him.
Exactly.
If Jon comes back and fights eventually, not a single person will care that he's not holding a title. Just take it off it, give it to Tom, let the weight class move on. And when Jon decides he wants to fight, if he does, then those two can fight. And if he doesn't, then it's cool. We just moved on. But like, rubber needs to meet the road. Just take the belt off him. It is insignificant for him to have it.
Correct.
That's all we've been saying. That's all we've been saying for 2 years now. Just take the belt off of him. If he wants to fight for it, he'll come fight for it. And he can retire as the champion if he wins. And if not, who cares? He's Jon Jones. We know the belts don't mean a whole hell of a lot anyways. So in the grand scheme of things, especially when it comes to guys like Jon and Pereira and big stars, it doesn't matter.
Nope, does not matter.
Anything else? Are we good?
Dude, and if Jon just bails on the belt, like, he could fight Pereira. If he's just like, hey, I'm out. And then 6 months later, he's like, at the end of this year, he's like, you know what? I kind of want to fight again. And I don't have a belt. I don't have any responsibilities to anybody else. I want to fight Alex Pereira. Okay, everyone signs up for it. Like, just take the belt off him. It solves every problem if you take the belt off him.
Yep. That's it. Easy. Okay, we're done. We will have a preview show tomorrow for UFC Mexico City, which, as we discussed, is it's gonna be fun. Brandon Moreno, Kenny Stiggs, we got Manuel Torres Berjober, Kelvin Gaston, Joe Piper, Raul Rosas Jr., Vince Morales, David Martinez, Simon Oliveira, Arnaldo Rodriguez, Kevin Borjas, and on we go. It should be fun. And we appreciate you joining us on another Thursday. We'll do a Q&A next week, and then right before UFC 314, the battles resume. For Casey, for Jed, I am Mike Heck. See you next week. The iconic voice of Sylvester Lynn takes you home. Good night.
Love y'all.
This has been Between the Links, an MMA fighting production on the Vox Media Network.